no lives matter. It's a straight war. I'll be real with you. It's war. We're at war. This isn't like they say. There's no friends at war. So I respect the guy. As you said, he's done well, all that good stuff. But we're fighting.
To fight? Not as of yet. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go get my head bashed in. Sparring is sparring, and we can see some sort of technicality being shown. Now, a lot of people are calling it fake. They're saying that it's set up.
Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight.
Anthony Joshua has repeatedly dismissed claims about Jake Paul's knockout sparring, insisting the clips are exaggerated and misleading. He emphasizes that genuine sparring must be fair, competitive, and intense, adding that the real truth will come out in the ring. Despite criticizing what he sees as staged moments, Joshua still shows respect for Paul, acknowledging him as a legitimate and worthy opponent.
Boxer?
Yeah, definitely. He's always wanted to be a boxer. He's got a stand-up game. I respect him as a boxer.
Some analysts have questioned Jake Paul's sparring footage, arguing that it appears staged and selectively edited to showcase only his knockout moments. They contend that releasing brief highlights fails to reflect his overall performance, suggesting that 3 to 4 full rounds should be shown for a fair evaluation. Critics also note that the sparring partner he knocked out was not highly skilled, making him easier to hit than a top-level heavyweight. Together, these points cast doubt on how representative the clips are of Paul's true readiness and whether his effectiveness against elite fighters can really be judged from such limited footage.
That I agree with that. If we're going to see that clip of you knocking this guy down, we want to see at least a full round. We want to see what you're actually doing. If you're going to show us knocking this guy down, show us more. Is his opponent any good? Okay, that's another very good question. His opponent may just be, and we couldn't really see much of him there. He didn't really throw a shot. His opponent might be a nobody. His opponent might be a guy who started box fit a few weeks ago. So that's a very good point. It's things like this we have to actually ask when we, boxers essentially putting up videos of them knocking people out. Who is this guy? You need to know that, because then that kind of qualifies that knockout or knockdown to be good or bad.
Andrew Tate has weighed in on Jake Paul's sparring sessions, suggesting that the heavyweight partners are not giving full effort. He explains that while sparring is meant to test and improve fighters, in these sessions opponents appear to be holding back, partly because they are being paid by Paul. As a result, the punches lack full power and the defensive pressure is reduced, making exchanges less realistic. Tate adds that although such sparring may help Paul practice techniques, it does not truly mirror the intensity or challenge of facing a highly competitive opponent.
Is there anything wrong with the sport?
I think as a boxing purist, it's quite upsetting to watch, young fighters struggle to pay the bills and struggle in little shithole gyms around the country trying to get big money fights and going through the Olympics and going through the amateurs and not being able to pay their bills. And I understand how frustrating that can be. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. I don't think it's everything that's wrong with boxing. I think that anything that gets people to tune in to a boxing match is good for the sport.
One more comment that he said was, Jake's been sparring Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight. So are they trying to knock Jake out? No. But are they giving him enough work for him to learn?
Gareth A. Davies was blunt in his comments about Jake Paul, warning that he could end up fleeing the ring like a thief in the night. Referencing the brutal knockout he saw Francis Ngannou suffer, Davies emphasized that this fight is far more dangerous for Paul than many people believe. He argued that facing a seasoned heavyweight like Anthony Joshua presents risks Paul has never encountered, adding that the seriousness of the challenge will become clear the moment the opening bell rings, making it a genuine test rather than a mere spectacle.
Go on, I watched him knock out Francis Ngannou inside 2 rounds.
Yeah.
How can that go 3 rounds with
Well,
Jake Paul?
It's very hard to knock out somebody that just hasn't come to fight and somebody that's just trying to survive. And that's what I think will happen to Jake Paul.
Do you think he'll run?
I think he'll run like a thief in the night. Once he sees the size of Joshua, those little 10-ounce gloves that they're going to be wearing, he's going to be petrified and his backside will fall out.
I went to the press conference in Miami for that a couple of weeks ago, and he was planning to motorboat AJ, and he thought differently of it when he was standing with him.
Good luck with that, mate.
No, AJ was He'd have got motorboated out of there.
Listen, mate, listen. Good luck with that, because if he starts out with AJ, puts his chin out and starts trying to goad him in, I think Anthony Joshua will definitely iron him out early.
Do you think he finishes his boxing career then?
Let's hope so.
If Jake Paul does something weird and wins, is that impossible?
Nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Highly unlikely, but not impossible.
If you'd been invited to fight Jake Paul for 25, I've heard it's 25 million. That's me behind the scenes. Other people have told me it's 60. Other people have told me it's more for Anthony Joshua. If you had been a current world champion and you'd been offered that fight with Jake Paul, would you have taken it?
100%.
So he had to take it.
He had to take it.
So you've got nothing against him taking it?
I've got nothing against him taking it, spending the money even. Still got nothing against that. My concern is for the health and safety of Jake Paul and the sport of boxing.
Because boxing will be pulled into the dock if something happens to Jake.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for what's coming next.